welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Tuesday, June 28th, 2016. If you want to follow us on Twitter, please go to CATEX TV. Well, pressure has eased on global financial markets after 2 days of turmoil in the wake of the British exit vote from the EU. In late morning trading in London, the FTSE 100 share index is up about 2.4%. The FTSE 250 is up almost 3%. The FTSE 100 had lost 5.6% in the two previous trading sessions. The pound also showed some slight signs of recovery, rising 0.8% against the dollar. It's now up to $1.33. The UK market recovery was led by sectors that had been worst hit in the 2 days of carnage, including banks, property, and airlines. Virgin Atlantic indicated that their share value had dipped by some 1/3. Shares in gold, which had performed well on Monday, were among the biggest fallers in the FTSE 100 as the gold price weakened. One trader said the sun is out in London, the FTSE 100 is rallying, and even the pound is moving higher. He said you might think there had been no Brexit vote and no downgrade of the UK economy overnight. Standard & Poor's and Fitch dropped them 2 whole rating pegs. The FTSE's unwillingness to stay below 6,000 is remarkable, the trader said, and while the damage to individual shares is still immense, some of that has been repaired today. In Brussels, there was bedlam as the European Union Parliament met in an emergency session to begin to plot a future without Britain. David Cameron, the UK Prime Minister, is arriving in Brussels as we speak and is going to be meeting with other EU leaders to discuss the British exit. The difficulty seems to be that the European Union wants Britain to formally invoke Article 50, which will begin the leave procedures as soon as possible. Cameron is saying that he does not plan on doing so until the new UK government is in power, which may not be until September or October. However, pouring gasoline onto a fire was the repugnant, if not repulsive, British member of the European Parliament, Nigel Farage. Mr. Farage was a leader of the Leave group and was responsible for one of the most dastardly commercials showing a long line of European migrants, a la a concentration camp kind of visage, waiting to enter the United Kingdom. Mr. Farage was booed and jeered when he urged Europe to give Britain a good trade deal when it leaves. Farage went on to say the UK will not be the last member state to leave the EU. He went on also to say that when I came here as a member of Parliament 17 years ago and said I wanted to lead a campaign to get Britain to leave the EU, you all laughed at me. Well, I have to say, you're not laughing now. You, as a political project, are in denial. He continued in a similarly mocking vein throughout his monologue, at one point telling the members of the European Parliament, virtually none of you have ever done a proper job in your lives. His effort did little to calm the atmosphere, as Farage went on to tell the Parliament that any attempt to impose trade barriers on Britain would backfire, name-checking German car assembly workers as being among those who would suffer. Former broker said that people were sick of merchant bankers, multinationals, and big politics controlling them, and predicted that more European countries would follow Britain in leaving the bloc. The former Belgian Prime Minister Guy Verhofstadt said, I am shocked, Mr. Farage, you are presenting yourself as the defender of the little man while you have offshore bank accounts. As Farage laughed, Verhoff said, all right, let's be positive. We're getting rid of the biggest waste of the EU budget, your salary, $100,000 annual, times 17 years. Lloyd CEO Beale, in an open letter in the Financial Times today, said that London can retain its status as the global heart of specialist insurance and reinsurance in the wake of the British exit. She said whether the UK can retain access to the single market is the most important question for CEOs right now. She also said cutting off or restricting access to the diverse, multilingual, multi-ethnic talent pool in the EU is unthinkable and will make it that much harder to remain competitive in a rapidly evolving insurance market. There was an explosion at a British Petroleum natural gas plant in near Biloxi, Mississippi last night. The plant is located in the city of Pascagoula on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. The facility takes in offshore natural gas and processes it to be shipped via pipeline. The blast occurred at 11:30 p.m. and the fire that resulted was not controlled until dawn. Nobody was injured, fortunately. There's an American government investigation into confusing gear shifters and Fiat Chrysler's SUVs of the type that crushed and killed the Star Trek actor Anton Yelchin. Apparently, the agency is wondering about some 1.1 million vehicles that Fiat Chrysler has agreed to recall. Fiat Chrysler received negative customer feedback shortly after the vehicles went on sale and some 686 consumer complaints. The actor, Yelchin, died on the 19th of June after his 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee pinned him against a mailbox pillar and fence at his home in Los Angeles. Fiat Chrysler said it has begun providing its 2,400 dealers with a software update, and they expect that everything will be finished by July or August. There was a 5.7 earthquake in southern Mexico yesterday afternoon, but no reports of damage or injuries. The quake occurred in the southern state of Oaxaca. However, it did cause tall buildings to sway in Mexico City, as well as evacuations. The two flight data recorders from the crashed Egypt Air flight that went down on the 19th of May, killing 66 people on board, had been damaged by both salt water and also fragmentation when they were recovered finally. However, the boxes have now, or at least one of them, have now been repaired after being sent to Paris. The French BEA Air Safety Agency has announced that it has successfully repaired the so-called flight data recorder, which actually has the telemetrics of the plane's movements. The next one that they're working on is the flight voice recorder. So it seems pretty clear that we will know what happened to the Egypt airplane that crashed. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.